All right, so we have another question from our good friend Sam R. Thank you for the question. The question is, can one speak Lashon hara about a non-Jew? I think the question is not can one, but may one, meaning is it permitted to do so? And this is a very nuanced question. And the question should not only be about the non-Jew, but the non-religious Jew. I remember they asked Rabbi Victor Miller, is it Lashon hara to speak out against the reform? And he says it's not Lashon hara, it's Lashon tov. It's not slander. It's good to speak like that, to speak out against the evil of the reform movement. That was Rabbi Victor Miller's opinion. And I actually asked him about this question about saying Lashon hara about a non-religious Jew or a non-Jew and so forth. And he gave me a really brilliant answer. He said, on one hand, according to the halacha, it's not particularly a sin to say a true statement about a non-Jewish person that is less than complimentary or even, I wouldn't say slanderous, I guess, because slander generally means something that's not true, but a negative statement, meaning you're not allowed to say a negative statement about another religious Jew unless there's a purpose in doing so. Meaning to warn somebody that it's not a good idea to engage with them for whatever reason, whether in business or in a marriage or so forth, and there's a practical and important reason to say this. So therefore, that's where you have this for the Jew. And if the Jew is religious, if the Jew is not religious, there is no law that prohibits one from doing that. And so too for the non-Jew, there's no particular law, because the law about the lo yselech rachel b'amisecha, you should not go about as a talebearer among your people. The Torah specifies among your people, and is speaking to the Israelites, and your people means oisamasa amcha, someone who acts like a member of your people. So therefore, there's no racism here, meaning just being born Jewish doesn't make you part of what's called amcha, of your people, of your religious community. Really is the better way to translate am. Therefore, and also the convert is fully Jewish in this sense, and so a pious religious convert is it's obviously prohibited to say Lashon hara. So, but the non-Jew who never converted, again, there's no particular prohibition against doing this. But Rabbi Miller said just because you're allowed to do something doesn't mean that it serves any purpose to do this. So he said, meaning just the same, even though the mitzvah of love thy neighbor, according to the way we always understand it, applies only to the religious Jew, and not to the non-religious Jew, and not to a Gentile neighbor, because the word isn't shachen, it's reah. So again, the one who's like you in Torah and the commandments, that is what the mitzvah is. But just because there's no mitzvah to love a non-religious Jew or to love the non-Jew doesn't mean that you have to hate them. And it doesn't mean that you should hate them. And so too, just because one might be permitted to speak negative speech about a non-religious Jew or a non-Jew doesn't mean that you should do that. And particularly for one's own benefit. This is the way that Rabbi Miller told me this. He said there's in the Chovos Levavos, the duties of the heart is how it's usually titled in English by Ibn Pekuda. He tells the story of two Hasidim, and most scholars will agree that when Ibn Pekuda says Hasidim, he doesn't mean Hasidic Jews. He means Hasidic Gentiles. What do I mean, Hasidic Gentiles? And he doesn't mean Noahites. He means pious Gentiles who he was familiar with, who most likely were Sufi Muslims. And he called them Hasidim, or at least the translator, I don't know what, because Ibn Pekuda wrote in Arabic, but the translator, Ibn Tibbon, translate to Hebrew, and I'm not sure what the Arabic word was, but the Hebrew that's translated is Hasidim. And so when he's speaking of these Hasidim, he's speaking of non-Jews, particularly Sufi Muslims, but any non-Jew who's a pious person. It would seem that Ibn Pekuda in the Chovos Levavos would call him whatever that Arabic term is for Hasidim. So maybe the same thing, I don't know, Francis of Assisi or other people that lived very pious, and maybe some gurus from the Buddhists or the Sikhs, or could also be called Hasidim, according to. You might want to argue that it's specifically for Muslims because they share our theology, but it's not really pshat like that. Anyway, that's just a side point. When he says the two Hasidim were walking along, they saw the carcass of a donkey rotting away on the street. And one said to his friend, "Look at how disgusting this carcass of this donkey is." And the other one said to him, "Yeah, but look how white his teeth are." Like the song says, accentuate the positive. Meaning that if you really want to be successful in this world, you have to look at things with a positive outlook. Don't be, if you want to be happy, if you want to be a good person, being negative doesn't help you. You have to look at the positive things in the world. And so therefore, that was Rabbi Miller's answer to me when I was a bacher, and it's on the tape, you could hear it. You could hear me asking the question. The tape is called Diamonds in the Road, and you can probably get it online now from the Simchas Achayim website. You can probably get an MP3, Diamonds in the Road. And if you listen to the questions at the end, I was the brash young bacher who had the audacity to ask a question and asked Rabbi Miller about, and he said he noticed that there was something angry in my heart. He was tzaddik, had whatever we want to say, Ruach HaKodesh. I don't mean like Ezra and Nehemiah or Tehillim, but he had what we call by the Heintik Tzaddikim Ruach HaKodesh, and he he said this, that he noticed there was some anger in me, some negativity in me, and he really changed my life that day when he told me that we should where are my Trump signs? Did someone take them? That we should look at the positive and not at the negative. So, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. So therefore, even though one can and perhaps may say Lashon hara, for say negative things about the non-Jew, he should not do so. He should not. He can and he may, but should he? No, he should not. If one wants to be happy in life, you should look at good things and not always be negative. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. And Rabbi Miller was a big kanoi, right? He was a big zealot, and yet this is what he told me.